Well, it's been quite a 10 days here, hasn't it, in the Middle East, in Qatar, in Doha. World Table Tennis, the start of the new era for the sport. And we've reached the very end here. So many great matches, so much entertainment, drama. We hope you've all enjoyed it, but we've got one match to come still. We're not done yet here in Doha. The Lusail Sports Arena, the stunning setting, the brand new WTT Arena these past 10 days. Much more to come, of course, from World Table Tennis, but these 10 days, these two events, the Contender event and this week WTT Star Contender Doha, really has got everyone talking. We've had one singles final completed in this final session of play. Mimorito making it back-to-back WTT titles with victory over Feng Tianwei of Singapore. The Japanese winning 4 games to 1. $25,000 for her, of course, as well, winning the title. Another success for her. Building up now to the last match, as I say, of the event. Tomokazu Harimoto, the top seed in the men's draw from Japan against Ruwen FILUS, 42 in the world. Dan, Harimoto we would have expected probably to get to this stage, not a big surprise, but what about FILUS, the German, what he's managed to do here to get to the final?
He's had an incredible run. I mean, as soon as I saw on the draw, wow, FILUS has took out Jun Misutani 3-0 in Zhang Wujin. What's happening here? And then obviously I watched his match against Lin Wenru to win 3-0 there too. And then of course to take out Darko Jorgic 4-2. It's just been such an incredible run, and he's been so effective with those long pimples chopping, and of course his backhand serve. Yeah. So effective.
Can he go one better? We're about to find out. Let's introduce the players then for the men's singles final.
Let's get ready for the men's singles final! Please welcome world rank 42 from Germany, Ruwen FILUS! And now, let's welcome world rank 5 from Japan, Tomokazu!
So a top-seeded Japanese involved here in the men's singles final. Is that an omen, with Mimorito having already tasted success in the women's title match? Tomokazu Harimoto will look to do similar here in a best-of-7 duel for the WTT Star Contender Doha men's singles title. Or will this man, who's been surprising everyone this week with the manner of his performances, his victories, we just saw there, Ruwen FILUS, as he got one more big win in the locker. It's in terms of our main umpire, Imad Meherb of Lebanon. Roman Klecker of the Czech Republic is the assistant umpire for this one. The last match of the WTT Middle East Hub. And with the performances, of course, that these two have produced through the week, the star quality that Harimoto brings and the well, absolute contender ability of Ruwen FILUS. Can we have a fitting finale to this competition? That's what they're playing for in terms of the trophy. $25,000 on offer to the winner of the men's singles title here at WTT Star Contender Doha. $19,000 to the finalists. All part of these rewards, fitting rewards for the best in the sport. More on that to come, of course, as we have more and more WTT events in the months to come. Coin toss. FILUS there actually just gave the decision, I think, to Harimoto. It can be hard to hear yourself sometimes, of course, the pumping atmosphere of World Table Tennis here in the Lusail Sports Arena, but he gave the decision to Harimoto here. Begin the warm-up ahead of this last match of the event. Dan, this guy, 17 years of age. Let's look at it in a sense, semi-finals. The disappointment, of course, of losing to Dmitry Ovcharov in those semis. How he's responded to that this week. Look at this run through this draw. Your initial comments on that. So impressive.
The game yesterday in that semi-final between Harimoto and Dmitry Ovcharov, you haven't watched it yet, be sure to go back to worldtabletennis.com and watch the highlights, because it was some of the highest quality table tennis I've ever seen. Both players just ripping shots, both backhand and forehand, relentless table tennis.
Yeah, I mean, even if you look at last week in their semi-final, of course he got revenge over the German this time, but the semi-final and the contender event. I think those first couple of games, as good as anything I've seen in the 10 days of competition. Of course, he went on to lose 4-2, got the revenge yesterday to make this final. His opponent, his run's got everyone talking, isn't it? And you've said as well, you made a few times down with this, that it's been a long time coming in a sense for Ruwen, hasn't it? Because in team competition, in doubles, he's delivered, but in singles this week, this could be the making of him in singles, this run.
Absolutely, this really could be the making of him, and it could be, yeah, something that just takes him to that next level, gives him that belief on a singles tournament scale. I mean, look at the wins there, Jang Woo-jin, Mr. Tani, yesterday with Darko Djurgic, amazing match. And what's amazing with Ruwen FILUS, of course, a defender, but his attacks are incredible. He literally attacked past Darko Djurgic. It was Ruwen attacking against Darko.
Yeah, and he had Ruwen ribbons as well in the quarterfinals. It's the run that's got everyone talking. I think it's kind of defined world table tennis really, this run from FILUS, because we talk about the unexpected results because of the level of the players who are entered. That's what lends itself to these upsets. Are they upsets in a way because of the standard in the sport? You've got the stars, but the contenders are so good that these results can happen, and that's what we've seen over the last 10 days, and FILUS defines that. Just wonder whether he's got one more in him to top it all against the world number 5, the top seed here. We're going to find out. Will it be Harimoto? Restores a modicum of order at the end of the event here, the top seed with the title. It'll be the underdog here, FILUS, to get the men's final underway. Best of 7, and of course here.
Straight away, Harimoto felt the backspin of Ruwen's serve.
First question to you then, Dan. I mean, maybe I'm conscious people tuning in here, first time, and know about Tomokazu Harimoto, for instance, what he brings to the table. Ruwen FILUS, this unusual style. You know, we've kind of talked about, he's a defender, classified as a defender.
This is the interesting part. Can Harimoto lift that backspin?
But then you've got on the top of that with FILUS, he's not a pure defender. He's kind of a hybrid, isn't he? He's a modern day defender. How does he win this match?
Ruwen has to...
We're already setting the time.
I'm just curious to just seeing what's...
Oh, he's out
I'm really...
So far away from the table there. No,
Ruwen's got to mix it up.
Yeah.
He's got to mix it up. He's got to keep Harimoto guessing. When Harimoto's got time and he knows what's happening, he's got a rhythm of a game, he just fires on all cylinders. Ruwen's got to mix it up. He's got to attack when the ball's loose, which we've seen him do throughout this whole tournament, but also chop low and really well. And one thing with Ruwen, his backhand serve is so deceptive. Players struggle with it. So he needs to be dictating the game. It can't be Harimoto commanding.
First towel down then. Saw Yusuke Kurashima, Harimoto's coach there. And they would have done their homework on FILUS. It's a very different type of opponent. Yeah, they've met a couple of times before, but you know, if you think of the wins through the week, there's no one, you know, in terms of Harimoto's draw plays like FILUS.
Not at all. And interesting, Harimoto's doing a lot of long, fast serves and straight away playing strong into the body of FILUS. He doesn't want that too much chopping, so he's going straight to the forehand, which is very clever. And we saw that with Darko yesterday. Darko was able to not have Ruwen backspin and defend too much. You can see how far back there FILUS is.
Well, I mean, I guess the thing is here, on your point, Dan, what Harimoto's done one of these first few points, you're getting FILUS there. I mean, this is where he's really effective, of course. He can draw the errors. Doesn't really chop when I see him on the forehand side. He tends to basically shovel.
Yeah.
A lot of the time. So what we've seen is from Harimoto there, when he's won the points, is, as you say, he's going into the forehands because he knows he's probably not going to get a chop back from that wing of FILUS.
Exactly, and then he can compete with him in that forehand area. We haven't seen many rallies at all yet where FILUS is just chop in, and Harimoto spinning. Harimoto doesn't want those rallies. He's seen it didn't work with Lim Win-Ru and Jun Mitsutani.
Oh, it's just fascinating, the matchup. I mean, we love it when two quality shake-hand attackers go head-to-head, but it's great, this. The mix of styles, it's what the sport's about.
No, it's brilliant, and it brings a lot of variety.
I mean, if you talk about a shake-hand attacker at the top of the game, I mean, Harimoto is right there as among the very best. And you've got FILUS on the other hand, the defender, the hybrid defender, always taking that step back generally. Having put the receive into play. So you've got the contrast there immediately.
4-8.
The start he was looking for here.
FILUS going for the attack, twiddling his bat there to use his smooth rubber for the forehand.
Just explain the twiddle as well for those who are not familiar. What FILUS did there on the previous point, what he often does.
So of course, FILUS has got the long pimples on the backhand side, the red rubber, and he's twiddling his bat so he can use this smooth side to attack, because it's very hard to attack on the forehand with long pimples, right? You want to be using the black side. So FILUS is actually turning his bat in his hand. We'll see it a bit more as the match goes in slow motion after FILUS does a serve.
Nine, 7-9.
Good receive there. FILUS using the long pimples. Did set up high. It looks attackable for Harimoto, but it's quite hard to read exactly what spins on that ball.
He's kind of wobbling around a little bit as well, off the pimples.
So there's attack. That's the hybrid attack you're talking about, Guy. Now, if we see here, when Ruwen serves, he's using the black side, smooth, twiddles. Let's see, the smooth side was used all 3 shots there.
Yeah.
He's twiddled twice in 3 shots. And that's what makes it so hard for the opponents, because they're not too sure what ball's going to come back in a split of second. But here it's Harimoto with the 2 game points.
Jörg Roskopf, of course, German legend on the bench for FILUS here. 2 game points for Harimoto.
10-9.
This is the exact ball I was talking about. This is the one that I feel like Harimoto may struggle with. Heavy back underspin from the long pimples of Ruwen. It's loaded with backspin. I saw Marlon once struggling against that ball in the World Team Cup 2018, but here we go.
Oh, he's done well there, Harimoto.
Game to Harimoto.
And he's taken the first game of this final off FILUS in the end there, 11-9.
See how Harimoto there sent that ball cross-court into the forehand. Kept away from the long pimples, kept away from the red rubber. And Harimoto, the wonder kid from Japan, goes 1-0 up.
Yeah, he's very much the wonder kid, still just 17 years of age. On his way here with the first game in the bag, the top seed in this final. Clash of styles reflected in the head-to-head here. It stands at 1 apiece coming into this star contender final. 2018 German Open, FILUS won that their first meeting 4-2, but Harimoto won the previous match. That was at the Austrian Open towards the end of the 2019 season. So 1 win apiece. I mean, that gives FILUS confidence. And I think actually the talk as well, you know, reading around on the social media at WTT, on our social channels, people saying that actually over the best of 7 here, FILUS can contend. He can possibly do this. You know, it's not, obviously Harimoto can win this match and his ranking and everything else, but it's not you don't look at it in a way, you know, sometimes you come in, Dan, and you go with a player, okay, they've won, say, all 7 of the previous matches, and you try and talk it up. Fans are not really thinking it's serious. Here, you can actually see a case both ways.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, Ruwen's got a great chance. He's just got to steady himself here in this game, try and get those chops in a bit more. I feel like when Harimoto's attacking into that forehand, he's effective. Can see this here again. This is what we need more of from Ruwen, because then Harimoto's guessing more. He's not as confident. He gets more unsettled. And that's loaded with backspin. It's very deceptive because Ruwen's not doing that much motion. I mean, it doesn't seem it, but he's got good touch. But yeah, see, this is the issue for Ruwen. As soon as Harimoto dives that ball into the forehand, Harimoto's in his territory that he likes.
2-1.
And this is another thing that Ruwen does so well, is his backhand serve. Gets so much spin on the ball. I think one of the reasons players struggle is because they're worried about pushing passive, because then Ruwen comes in with the attack.
Yeah, well, we've seen his big cuts on the forehand side that he can take. I mean, he's so powerful. Those drives, loops as well. He's just unpredictable as well. He talk a lot about players, they like rhythm. You know, Harimoto wants that true ball coming at him. He wants to get into that position. FILUS doesn't really give that.
For sure. I mean, FILUS done well there, blocking with the long pimples. It's not easy to do that. Just couldn't get the angle at the end there. Now that's the Ruwen FILUS that we know can be so dangerous when he's attacking. After those chops, he's running in. Fine fade. Harimoto done well to get that back. And that's what we saw in his previous games, Ruwen, right? He was so strong with the attacks, and he definitely needs to take this game to Harimoto and make those strong forehands and backhands.
Let 4-2.
Good point construction again from the Japanese. What would they have done beforehand? I mean, we were obviously commentating the women's final. You know, we were getting information through from the, you know, the training hall and everything beforehand, the practice. When you're taking on, we've talked about what Ruwen FILUS brings. For you, oh, he's got the edge there. Yep, just enough of the edge there, FILUS to take that point. What would Harimoto have done, you know, in terms of practice with Yosuke Kurashima for you? What would you have done? You're prepping someone to take on
a player
like FILUS.
It wouldn't surprise me if Harimoto in the training hall had one of the coaches or a teammate chop, for sure, and had long pimples as well. They have all the bats ready. I've seen quite a lot of training hall stuff, and before the matches, players they also train against left-handers if they're playing against a left-handed play or someone with tricky serves.
7-4.
It makes a big difference, you know, because if Harimoto dived into this match without playing anyone with long pimple bat...
Yeah, because he hasn't in the draw. You know,
no.
So, yeah.
So he would have definitely used it in the training hall. I'm 100% sure on that. What about that for a combo? Backhand, forehand.
This is huge, isn't it, from FILUS?
You see him twiddling there as well.
Yeah.
On both shots. It's hard enough to play a forehand topspin without twiddling. It's phenomenal. I feel like, you know, FILUS has got Harimoto where he wants him now. Harimoto's unsettled. He's not too sure what FILUS is going to do. Harimoto is very good at finishing these balls. When he does catch out FILUS, Harimoto is very good at punishing him there, you know? Whereas I feel some other players that have played FILUS this week, when FILUS has been caught out, they've not been that good at playing really hard on that next ball.
Yeah, not clinical.
Yeah, whereas Harimoto is.
8-6.
No, going again into the chop, into the backhand of FILUS. Idle yet, but if you can take one of these next two, he'll be halfway there, Harimoto. This is an excellent response because, of course, FILUS was ahead in this second game. Harimoto now with a couple of game points.
9-10.
His backhand really did let him down there in the end, FILUS. Another mistake, and it's Harimoto now, 2 games up in the final.
An interesting run of errors there, really, from FILUS. Sort of head dropped a few times. Maybe just snatched at a few balls. As soon as Harimoto started that comeback, FILUS' body language started to change. He started losing out on the short game.
Doesn't look as comfortable, does he, as he's done in this amazing run through to the final. It's got everyone talking. And of course, that's what they're playing for. Invite your comments as always. Of course, there'll be coverage. There's been coverage throughout these 10 days. Hashtag WTT Doha. We invite your comments. There'll be a reaction, of course, the best reaction through our social media channels here at World Table Tennis to all that's gone on. Interviews with the key participants, photo coverage as well. Of course, match highlights on the official website, www.worldtabletennis.com. It's been the case throughout the 10 days. It's been quite a ride. And, is it going to have this ride, the perfect ending to it for Tomokazu Harimoto? Has Ruwen FILUS got something left here in response? It's been an amazing run. He's now 2 games down here in this final. Couldn't have a better coach, really, could he, on the bench to try and devise a way back in. Do you feel that there's a need? I mean, Jörg Groskopf obviously has had a chance to chat with him there. Do you feel that FILUS needs to change up? You've now seen a couple of games here, Dan. You know, we talked a lot in the first few points about the matchup.
Yeah.
Now we've seen a couple of games. Do you feel he needs to change anything up, or is it just about executing the game plan better?
Well, I felt like FILUS did well in the last game. He was 8-4 up, and he really unsettled Harimoto. And he is right now with a 3-0 lead. It's just about not making those unforced errors early on, and whether that's because FILUS is thinking about the moment, or it's just can't be giving any 2 loose balls at the start. So we're pushing out well, getting Harimoto out, and then getting set and being ready to chop or get those attacks in.
See, that's not a bad miss there, because I mean, he set up the point well. That's how he'd like to finish. That's just the lack of the execution from FILUS, the problem. Yeah, as you say, I mean, he was 8-4 up in the previous game. I mean, he's now ahead in this one. Doesn't seem to be too much wrong in the general approach.
That's it, that's it. You just got to keep that pressure, keep mixing it up. There's a good variation there.
1-5.
And then that forces Harimoto, to make an unforced mistake. He rushed it into the ball there. Yeah, that's brilliant. That all stemmed from that receive there off serve. Absolutely hacked. That allowed FILUS to get in first with that forehand. Good legs. Getting nice and low. Look at this guy, 6-1. That's brilliant.
There we go.
7-1.
So you're talking about variation. This time FILUS come around the side of the ball on that reverse chop shot there, which then popped the ball up. And then the twiddle, backhand kill. It's just an incredible combo.
Yeah, it's kind of a backhand loop, backhand drive, the way he sets up. There's a real element of surprise about it. Oh, yeah. Now he's coming here. Now he's coming to the party.
It's amazing how he read Harimoto there was going to go for a slow shot and then steps in, boom.
2-8.
Foul service there, but still a lead of 6, an even better position, of course, than he was in. But he won't be getting carried away, of course. He led 8-4 in the previous game, but this is an even better position for FILUS. The application required there for Harimoto was something, wasn't it?
That's the first time we've seen a run of points where Philus is having to do 5 or 6 chops. And I was impressed with Harimoto there, how well he was lifting those balls.
Yeah,
with pressure.
Easy to lose concentration there, one of those.
8-4.
This is where Philus needs to be careful, not rushing the point at the start. You know, he's jabbed into it. I know he's trying to be positive, but got to keep the pressure on Harimoto, make him play some shots, you know. Because Philus is doing well. I mean, he's holding in the point, especially when Harimoto's going to the forehand. He's able to keep the ball in.
Eight, 5.
Philus here.
It's a timeout.
Timeout.
It's got to be really with what happened in the previous game as well. Doesn't want the run to continue.
You can see Ruskov here gets up straight away.
Yeah, he's seen it all before. He needs to try and halt the momentum there of Harimoto. That was 3 in a row. He's a bit puzzled, doesn't he, here, Philus? Got to keep telling himself, though, the level that he's produced to get in those positions has been very good.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be hard on himself, you know. He's got to keep positive, take initiative, because he's well in this. As I said, he's got to avoid those unforced errors at the start of the point, get into the rally.
Harimoto on the fight back again, came from 8-4 down in the previous game, was 8-2 down in this game, now at 8-5 at the timeout. So chats away with Yoshiki Kurashima here. It's clear they've really studied the opponent here, done their homework. Still, of course, a fair way to go in this best of 7. Time for Philus to come back into it, and he's still well placed in this third game, no question.
8-5.
See if that timeout does the trick for the German. Oh, nothing you can do there. It was there, wasn't it? And he kind of set it up in many ways, Philus.
That's exactly the combination that has worked so well throughout this whole tournament. Chop, 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 wait for the push, and then come in for the attack. It's the moment, though, at the moment for Philus. He's feeling it.
Yeah, now the lead's been wiped out. That's 6 in a row for Harimoto.
Harimoto is so hard to, you know, even when you're ahead. It's same with Dimitrov yesterday. 5-0 up, 5-1 in 2 games, Dimitri, and Harimoto just comes straight back.
Well, it's that hunger, that desire. You know, people often, speak to people when they watch Harimoto for the first time, they go, why is he shouting like this after every point? You know, he's talked about that and everything. It's not a show. This is what allows him to produce his best. And isn't that what it's about? It's about doing what you need to do to produce your best. There again. He's such an incredible competitor, Tomokazu Harimoto. You forget he's 17.
Yeah. Amazing how he took his time on that backhand there, just fed the ball through with the spin, used Philus's spin.
8 points in a row. Is he turning the screw here on Philus? It's not decisive, of course, if he takes this. It's a race to 4, but well, this would be a hammer blow for the German. 2 game points. One of them saved. Yeah, it's not, you know, it's, you lose games, isn't it? I mean, the fact that he's been 8-2, mentally, it'll be tough to take if you can't save this. Oh, but Harimoto for once there misses out. Oh.
10-11.
Well, a moment of fortune, you've got to be honest, for Phyllis there with that drop in. I mean, Harimoto wasn't expecting this at all. This one coming up.
Harimoto almost got that there.
Yeah, almost.
This brilliant shot there from Harimoto, taking it so early with so much pace. He's not giving Ruwen time to set for his defensive shot.
No, a shake of the head. Like that again, I think, Phyllis.
It was loaded. Harimoto received back all of Ruwen's spin from his previous backspin chop.
Third game point. Well played.
Yeah, how about that for a receive? Kind of around the side of the ball, so it's got topspin. So Harimoto pushed it. And then Phyllis there with the twiddle, forehand attack. Levels the scoreline, 12-all.
And another towel down here. You can't shake the feeling, really. This is going to go a long way deciding the outcome of this final. Both having had the chances now. That difference 3-0 or back to 2-1. Huge.
Whoa. Phyllis there served with the long pimple rubber as well. It's the first time Harimoto's attempted his backhand against the defensive chop from Phyllis.
Oh, he's taken it!
14-12, game 2 FILUS.
Ruwen Phyllis back into this final. Takes the third game of this one. 14 points to 12, saving game points along the way, and it's very much game on here in Doha.
It's game on indeed. Very gutsy, clever shot there from Ruwen at the end there. Coming around the side of the ball, it came high, but tons of topspin, and it just caught Harimoto off guard. We might see that receive a lot more now going into this fourth.
He's got something to work with now, Ruwen Phyllis. Led, of course, in the second 8-4, lost it. And, of course, had led there again. He'd led 8-2. And then Harimoto came to gain points. That's a really good effort from Phyllis to go on and win the game, considering what had gone on before. He's still in charge, Harimoto, but more questions to ponder, perhaps, as you say, with a couple of the tactical areas of the game as well. Things to watch heading into the fourth game and beyond here. It's a fantastic arena, of course, the brand new WTT arena, the blue on black, of course, the black flooring, and the blue colours popping around, signifying the Contender Series. We've had the Contender event last week, the Star Contender this. We've got different colours signifying the different levels in the World Table Tennis structure. More of information on that, of course, you can find at the official website. Those events, of course, to be unveiled, played for the first time in the months to come, hopefully.
One love.
Yeah, a key game for me, that last game there from Ruwen Phyllis. I think if he'd have lost that one 3-0 down, it'd just air away at him. After being up twice.
Love 2.
Harimoto coming out strong out the blocks. And again, finding that forehand of Phyllis going out wide.
No, it's long. Catch the edge there from Harimoto. Again, more of the rallies we kind of expected in this matchup. With Phyllis chopping there.
Two all.
Just clip the net, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just getting the impression a little bit here, Harimoto's getting a bit more, not full-on flustered, but just getting a bit more unsettled. He started the match so well.
Well, yeah, he's definitely thinking about it a lot more.
Oh, only just. Going to work so much harder to win these points now, Harimoto.
Yeah, he took this last one so early. Philus done well to get that one, but the last one was a bit too much.
Three all.
See some mistakes here from Harimoto, just misreading the spin. And this is the art of a defensive player, especially a defensive attacking player. Mixing up the spin often means the attacker's going to make some unforced errors, you know, not always be completely clean with the shot. And that's what Philus has got to do.
G4.
So Harimoto done so well to smash this ball here. Philus got so much loop and height on the ball. And to the white line, you have to jump for it.
Let. 3-4.
Net serve.
5-3.
The points against the service there. Service to come here for Harimoto in this fourth game. Well, that's where he can surprise Philus. Does take that on, but he can't make it. Not this time.
That was quite risky, that was, from Philus, to be fair. Maybe could have just kept chopping there and staying the point.
He's, as you pointed out before, Dan, he's so good, Harimoto, at going again and again. I mean, these balls are not easy at all out of the lights, just hanging with very little on them, or they're coming off the pips, they're moving around, dropping from a great height. Handles it all so well, Harimoto.
Yeah, very well.
That's the edge of the blade there.
That's the feeling on Harimoto here. He's filled the spin through on Philus, so it's kicked through. All of Philus' spin has come back at him.
Eight, 4. Nine, 4.
Harimoto's doing so well with this tactic. Playing out wide to Philus very early on.
Question of what Philus can do to turn that round, especially on the receive. Right, as you say, directing a lot of traffic there. Oh,
5,
yeah.
9.
He's made that high tariff shot for Philus. Does like taking it on, doesn't he, on the backhand side? Really likes taking risk there.
Nice class. It's key. It's what's got Philus to this final. His attacking ability. Oh, what a touch.
He's done him there.
The feeling to touch the ball like that. I mean, Philus technically did a long serve as well. To be able to control the ball.
11, 5. Game
And
to
there is
Harimoto.
the fourth game here for Harimoto. Is he moving in on the title? One more game required.
Yeah, good pressure from Harimoto throughout that game. Finding the wide forehand of FILUS so often. Actually ended up FILUS having to lob so much. I'm sure Harimoto will stick to that.
Yeah, restoring order from his point of view there. 3-1 up now. Harimoto needing just one more game, of course, to win WTT Star Contender Doha. That's what they're playing for, of course, in addition to $25,000 US to the winner. Just have a look there at those wonderful trophies. I think they're going to become iconic. So the players, you mentioned some of the players already looking at them who've won them, and other players have said, yeah, I wouldn't mind having one of those at home.
They look very sleek, and I like the, I just love the W imprint on top, how it all molds in, like it's very custom, and yeah, I wouldn't mind one.
Yeah, it kind of underlines what the rebrand and everything is all about here with World Table Tennis, taking the sport forward, modern, fresh, vibrant look. But you've got to have the matches complementing all of that, and that's what we've had in these 10 days. So many thrilling, memorable encounters.
FILUS to serve, love all.
Of course, Tomokazu Harimoto, specifically Ruwen FILUS this week, has provided those. Has he possibly got one more left here? Or is this too much at 3-1 down? Let's find out.
Love two.
I think we've got to see FILUS using more of, trying to get the ball more wide to Harimoto's forehand at the start of the point. Going into the backhand, Harimoto's turning very quickly and playing the forehand.
Love three.
He's going unsettled here, 3-0 start.
Mm.
Love.
Couple of mistakes on the forehand side from Harimoto here. Extends the lead for FILUS.
You see, FILUS has imposed his game very well in his first few points. In the previous game, it was Harimoto playing wide to the forehand of FILUS. You know, these rallies weren't really taking place, and these are the ones that FILUS can win the point on.
4-1. One five.
He's controlling this fifth game, but FILUS, of course, will not be getting carried away. Look at earlier in the match, the leads that he's had have been greater than this. But as we say, he has just wrestled back a little bit of initiative sometimes in some of these rallies. How they're being played out, that will encourage him.
1-6.
Harimoto, a rash of errors here.
Well, Harimoto's not too sure now where FILUS is receiving. So he's protecting his backhand side, so he's using the backhand there. And we've seen a few times Harimoto struggled to use his backhand against this long pimple chop.
Mm. Yeah, because if you think back over the event, Harimoto, I mean, his backhand's been the, you know, the standout. We call it stock shot, but I mean, it's been more than that. It's been deadly at times. But of course, it's a very different matchup. Hasn't been, well, we haven't spoken about it quite so much.
The thing is, it's a lot harder to do the backhand against the chop ball than a forehand. The forehand's got bigger motion. You can get more acceleration and racket speed.
Yeah.
And with the amount of backspin that FILUS is producing. This is one thing I noticed with Dimitri's game against Harimoto. Harimoto's really improved his block. So FILUS there, he's hit a really good shot. You think he's won the point here, really. But Harimoto's got very good at just standing still and just blocking the ball back. And decent quality. The amount of times he wins the point like that now.
4-7.
This is a young man, of course, who burst on the scene. He's won the grand finals, the titles as well, big titles, but got to keep adding to your game. And you've identified an area there maybe where opponents would have got to him in the past. Tougher to do that now. And then, of course, there's the firepower that Harimoto's always possessed in abundance. See, ripping the ball here.
5.
Slow, heavy spin there. Philus couldn't keep the ball down. Fantastic forehand topspin from Harimoto, changing the pace. Not always playing strong and fast out into the forehand, mixing the spin.
It's the variety in that forehand. Because as you say, the backhand's been a shot. You know, you think of his earlier matches, the matchup, Giannis Sekaran, Aruna, these guys. Of course, he's used his backhand, but here,
6-9.
although there have been more mistakes, it's been the variety of the forehand that stood out with the Japanese.
Yeah, good receive here from Philus, keeping the ball low. Makes it harder for Harimoto to make that quick attack. Right.
Well, there are more balls coming back now.
Yeah.
And it's draining even for Harimoto here to keep winding up, injecting that pace.
The longer a rally goes on, the longer a point goes on, the longer a match goes on, for an attacker against defender, it always becomes harder.
10-7.
It's more of a flick that time on the forehand side.
It just clipped the edge there, didn't it?
Yeah, and it's a wind-up, obviously, but it's just the way he contacted it. It was like a flick. Second game point. Apologises to caught the net on the way through, but Ruwen Philus went out in front early there, and this time he wasn't caught. He's still very much alive here in Doha, the German, now trailing 3-2.
Yeah, much better set there from Philus. Mixing the ball up, mixing his play. He's able to dictate his game on Harimoto there by being more aggressive on the first balls and just mixing up the receive, so Harimoto didn't just keep pivoting and just dictating by playing wide to the forehand to Philus.
Harimoto, of course, trying to follow Mima Ito's example earlier in the women's final. Top-seeded Japanese coming through for the title, and he's still in a good place to do it. He's still 3-2 up, but there will be a few more moments, thoughts, doubts, you know, kind of creeping in there with that last game that we just saw from Ruwen Philus. Still in charge, though, still 3-2 up. See whether he can match Ito's achievements. Ito absolutely incredible, really, these 10 days in Doha, winning both women's singles titles. Just the one defeat, in fact, alongside Mizutani in the mix. Other than that, it was just win, win, win.
Sixth game, Harimoto to serve.
Harimoto, of course, losing in the semis of the contender event last week to Dmitry Ovcharov. From 2 up, he was lost that 4-2, of course, different trajectory to this match now, but he won the first couple here.
Love one.
And this is absolutely key for Ruwen Philus right now to get a few points ahead, unsettle Harimoto. I feel as soon as Harimoto gets a slight lead here, it's going to be very, very tough for Ruwen.
1-1.
So clever long fast serve from Harimoto there, opening the play and playing quickly to Ruwen so he doesn't have time to get in position to chop the ball.
2-1.
Just so much backspin on the ball from Philus. Harimoto done well there. Philus there, a tricky receive, but Harimoto's backhand there, just all over it. Open bat angle straight through the ball.
Tried to twiddle there, he tried to come round and switch it up as he often does, but the accuracy wasn't there on that occasion for the German.
It's interesting because Philus hasn't won many points on that backhand side.
It's quite risky, isn't it?
Maybe he doesn't need to.
Giving it everything, Philus, there from way back.
Harimoto is doing well to smash those. They're such deep lobs.
It's not just the muscle, it is the attention to detail every time. And he picks the service there. Easy does it for Harimoto.
Yeah, done so well there. Took the pace off it, took his time. And that deception on the forehand, it looks like his forehand's going cross-court. Just changing his angle on contact.
Oh, another one. Still just that uncertainty about this, even at this point, even with Harimoto ahead, that you feel maybe this isn't quite done yet in his favour. He's able to wind up the forehand this time. I've seen so much of it from Philus in recent times, but that one, he's got that back.
Philus had to twiddle twice there to get him ready. So watch the twiddle. And again, wow. Because he thought he was coming to the backhand, so he's twiddled for the backhand. He then realised he comes to the forehand, so he twiddled for that. Timeout,
yeah. Timeout called by Yoshiki Kuroshima here. Both timeouts used now. A little bit of a different look now from Philus. He's a bit more out in front here, listening to Jurgen Roskopf. Before he was kind of sat back a little bit more. He believes here that he can possibly push this into a 7. It's been an examination for Harimoto. It was always likely to be this way. I mean, even 3-2 up. 5 points from the title, hard work, as you said, and as the match goes on against the defender, even a hybrid defender like Philus, pretty demanding, pretty draining on Harimoto at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's lots of rallies, those lobs, that will take energy out of Harimoto as well, those high lobs. So, yeah.
Philus. 5-6.
Big point in this one after the timeout. Slightly hesitant there, Harimoto.
His trusty backhand lets him down. Of course, you go back, as I say, different situation, but you go back to last week in the semi-finals. He was 2 up on Dmitry Ovtcharov and lost 4-2 from there. He knows here that this could easily, he's not careful, go to a deciding 7th game.
That was clever. See, this is what I said earlier. If Ruwen plays wide to the forehand of Harimoto, he can't seem to get the same amount of power on the first ball because Harimoto's setting himself ready for the forehand from the backhand corner.
So he's got to move across, first of all, mate, and therefore he isn't as well set as early.
And he,
that's unfortunate for Philus, it really is.
That's a crazy,
Let's off for Harimoto there. Gets it just right there. Back on track that time, Harimoto.
Yeah, got to switch into the forehand. Philus just couldn't read how much spin was on it. He tried guiding it through.
Eight all.
It's coming off the pips there.
Yeah, off the pinballs. Reversing the spin, just having Harimoto guess, really, what's on it. And that little bit of hesitation causes the weak return.
Yeah, well described. It just came across as a hesitant shot from Harimoto, and you can't say that about him too often. Nothing hesitant about that. Ferocious.
It's a clever serve from Harimoto. Long, fast. Straight away, get that ball into the forehand corner of Philus.
Now, we know that he's the real deal, Harimoto. He's shown that over a number of years. But if he can win this title, big moment surely in his career. And he's very close now. He was the youngest Grand Finals champion, remember, just 15 years of age. A lot of youngest ever records set by Harimoto. And he's still only 17. But he continues to improve. And he's almost home here. 2 match points.
Game and
Tomokazu Harimoto is the WTT Star Contender Doha champion. He's had to dig deep there, he's had to work hard, but he's seen off Ruwen Philus, the surprise finalist, in 6 games in the end. Harimoto dominant in Doha.
Yeah, what a performance from Harimoto. Philus had his chances, but I feel like Harimoto just kept pressuring that forehand, found that tactic early on, and stuck to it. Disciplined. Philus on the back foot.
Yeah,
Gets
just
that forehand.
apologising in the end, of course. A little bit fortunate with the finish, but there was very, very little that was fortunate about this success for Harimoto. He's had a wonderful run of wins against different opponents. And sealed it, sealed the deal here. This leader of the new generation will lift the silverware here. The WTT Star Contender Doha champion. The first, of course, first Star Contender champion in the men's singles ever. Dmitry Ovcharov, of course, the first winner of a contender title. And now Harimoto, the winner of the Star Contender here at the Lusail Sports Arena.
Yeah, what a tournament he's had. What a tournament he's had. He's just had such fine form, so disciplined when he's under pressure.
So the final match of the WTT Middle East Hub. We're awaiting the trophy presentation ahead of the men's singles. What a performance from Tomokazu Harimoto. Just a word for Ruwen FILUS, actually, Dan, while we wait here. Of course, the finalist here, picking up $19,000 and that finalist trophy looks wonderful. Just on the week overall, because, yeah, okay, he's lost out here, but he was well in that final all the way through. And a fantastic week for him. You talked about in his career in singles going forward, you feel?
Massive. I think it's going to give him a lot of confidence, especially in the singles events. I mean, he's took out Jun Misitani and Linwen Ryu 3-0. Both those guys are the best players in the world, you know, top 10 players. Ruwen FILUS has beaten quite comfortably, you know. There was rallies where he's just dominating.
Yeah, and he was involved. He competed hard in that final as well with Harimoto. We talked about him, of course. He's won medals at major events, but it's been in team events and the mixed doubles, of course, the Europeans with Han Ying. But in singles, he's had a big week. Let's join in on the presentation now for the men's singles.
The awards ceremony for the WTT Star Contender Doha Men's Singles Final. A historical fortnight of table tennis comes to a close with the first ever WTT Star Contender champion being crowned right here in Qatar. Today we have witnessed 5 unbelievable finals, and this is only due to the hard work and effort of a whole host of people who have worked tirelessly to ensure a safe and successful staging of this event. We acknowledge the hard work of the Qatar government, the Qatar Table Tennis Association, and WTT staff who have been instrumental in creating WTT Middle East Hub. And now, a warm welcome to our distinguished members of the official party for today's trophy presentation. Mr. Khalil Al-Mhannadi, WTT Board Director, and Mr. Steve Dainton, ITTF CEO and WTT Director. Please welcome back our finalist, Ruwen FILUS from Germany. I now invite Mr. Steve Dainton, ITTF CEO and WTT Director, to present the finalist trophy. And now, our WTT Star Contender Doha 2021 Men's Champion from Japan, Tomokazu Harimoto. I now invite Mr. Khalil, the WTT Board Director, to present the Champions Trophy. I will now kindly invite all our presenters to join near the players for a group photo.
Harimoto then posing for photos alongside, and he beat Ruwen FILUS with our dignitaries, our panel. $25,000 for Harimoto for winning the men's singles here. FILUS pocketing $19,000. Dan, just before we wrap up, I suppose we've got our men's finalists here. Your kind of reflections, not just on this final, but actually more on the week as a whole, the hub and everything else, and where world table tennis is at. I think it's all positive.
It's all positive indeed. It's vibrant, it's new, it's fresh, and I've loved every minute. There's been amazing rallies, amazing matches, and huge upsets.
Yeah, that's what it's about, the unexpected. It's about competitiveness as well. We've had all of that. It's about fun. We've had plenty of that too. And, well, we had a match there at the end. It kind of summarised all of those themes, really. And it illustrates, doesn't it, the promise to come. I mean, there's plenty more to come with world table tennis. We have to reiterate that. We've had 2 events here in the Middle East Hub. It's a great start, but there is more to come.
Yeah, there's so much more to come. And I'm sure there's more to come with Tomokazu Harimoto here.
Oh, definitely.
Today's winner.
Yeah, definitely more to come with Harimoto. Another big title, of course, getting himself in the WTT history books early on here. The first Star Contender men's singles champion. And a quick selfie as well, which he'll beam out for all his hordes of fans. So, just before we go, let's recap on what we've seen in terms of this session just now. The blue ribboned events, really, the singles finals. Earlier on, Mima Ito, Harimoto's compatriot, the top seed in the women's draw, making it back-to-back WTT titles here in the Middle East hub with a victory over Feng Tianwei 4-1. Of course, Ito also won the contender event last week, undefeated in singles across the 10 days of competition. And then just now, Tomokazu Harimoto winning the men's singles with a victory over Ruwen FILUS 4-2. Earlier on, of course, in the first session, the first three finals, the doubles, success for Jeon-jae and Shin Yubin over the winners from the contender event, the top seeds Kasumi Ishikawa and Miu Hirano 3-0. Jeon Young-sik and Lee Sang-soo, more success for the Republic of Korea, edging a tight men's doubles title match with Alvaro Robles and Ovidio Ionescu 3-2. And in the mixed doubles final, a double up for Lin Wenru and Cheng Yi-ching as well there from Chinese Taipei, beating Lee Sang-soo and Jeon-jae 3-1. We thank you for your company today and indeed over the last 10 days here at the WTT Middle East Hub. It's been a blast. We hope to bring you much more in the months ahead. But for now, from the whole tireless production team on this event, on the two events, from Dan Ives and myself, Guy McCree, we'll see you next time. It's bye for now.